I want to find out more about this trajectory and journey. And he's also an erstwhile Teach for India Fellow. His area of expertise is in working on positive masculinities with adolescent children, and he's researched and worked extensively on this issue with children in the state of Haryana. So Shri, welcome. I want to know what your journey, into doing this work has been, especially going from being a sailor to a feminist scholar.
Thank you, Swati, and thank you, Padmini, for having me here. Whatever you talked about me, I'm everything except a young change maker, because I believe I'm 37 now, and it feels like Rahul Gandhi being repackaged as a young youth leader of the country. So, yeah, just on the lighter note. So the question is, what was the shift from being a sailor to this area of gender studies? So the journey begins, if you watch 3 Idiots, so I could relate to that character Raju Rastogi. So I trained, I was good at studies, I turned into an engineer, I went to engineering college, Merchant Navy, happened. But during Merchant Navy, you get a lot of time to breaks. So in those 6 months of my breaks, I was in Delhi. And then Nirbhaya happened. So for the people who know that there was a protest on Rajpath, that was the first protest in my life which I participated. And till date, like now also, if I speak to you, I feel the shiver of the level of atrocities which a young boy, not even men, the youngest one, could do this. And the question, where we went wrong, I could not demand for other sort of justice, but for me the question was, as a society, where went wrong terribly. That's the journey which I took into Teach for India, and I entered into school, in a boys' school, and some of my students are still in this room. I'm glad. So the question remained the same, that I don't have words that time. I don't know what masculinity, gender studies is, but I know that there is some problem with the way schools is, teaching the gender. So I entered in the classroom, and I was like Amir Khan from Tare Zameen Pe on the first day. I was all prepared to impress and connect with, build rapport and relationship building, everything we learned in Teach for India training. In the end of this 1-hour class, Darshil Safai, my Darshil Safai, was looking outside the window. And I turned up to him and I asked, what happened? With this sad face, he just said one simple statement, Bhaiya, I miss my friends from the previous school. I miss Swati, I miss Bharti. I miss my friends. This was 6th standard because they are not allowed to study together. So they are not allowed to study in a co-ed school. So I'm sharing this because these questions I could not let go. The privilege we had when I studied in army schools, I grew up with girls. I mean, it was fantastic to be with around those, comforting people. Friendship. So friendship became a term or a challenging thing, like why are these boys not able to grow in this particular environment? And this is where the journey I've taken. It's been like almost a decade now. That into this field of gender studies and masculinity became, I entered from Teach for India as a teacher to a researcher. So I know the domain of not funding, absolutely I have no idea of funding, I'm very honest. But I know what it feels to be in a classroom. I'm a student and I'm a teacher. And when I go and conduct these sessions in government schools in Delhi and in Haryana, when I have these conversations in my family, imagine being in a Haryana family with a father from a military and to talk about rights of property for the sister. It's a personal toll, it's a personal journey. Feminist research which I bring to the table today. So when we talk of funding as a one pillar, but we do talk of knowledge as one pillar, data. Yeah? So data gets our attention. Now the question or the thing which I bring here is, how do we make sure that the knowledge production is designed in a manner where these data these are human subjects. We're talking about children, we're talking about adolescents. So how do the feminist research make sure that we work not as a researcher and being a research, this dichotomies are challenged. So this was like a brief journey. So currently I work as a research scholar in JNU. And yeah, activism and my academics don't separate, so I don't see any division between my personal, my professional, my political opinions. I'm very clear about my political standings. And yeah, I conduct these researches in Haryana, which was recently in news for the communal tension also. So that's the area where I'm currently working. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sri. And coming to sort of your experience of navigating all of this, what do you think are some of the challenges for fully, and that you see not just for yourself in your current role, but also for some of the young boys, the young people that you work with as well in the communities? What are some of the challenges that you see that FRC should be thinking about within its strategy moving forward?
Challenges. Yeah, so I think one, if I have to share, is the position of leadership. People understanding that it's important to engage with boys and men. This topic needs attention at all levels, at all platforms, because it's need attention not because it comes from a position of paternalistic position. It brings, and there's a report by UNICEF on transforming mentalities, we can refer to it, because the gains of feminist movements, the gains of gender rights movement, they are backsliding if we don't engage with boys and men. So I feel that there is, the challenge is one, to be in this leadership position, to have these, because, and I come to the second challenge, which is engaging with gender is not in isolation. It is inherently political. It takes personal risk to talk against establishment. It's not neutral. Feminist research cannot be neutral. We cannot talk of data as objective neutrality from an androcentric point of view. We are engaging with issues which are highly political, and that's the challenge comes from the people, the position, the leaders who are able to take this risk. So that's one, and if I may add to the second part, which is we do talk of capacity building, and these are very important areas, but how many of us are able to engage with feminist research, methodologies, the training, the curriculum itself, which requires our attention. So this is the second challenge. And the deeper one is the personal transformation. The personal transformation did not happen during one course of sessions. So it's the personal, and we do talk of, I'll just pause here with this, we do talk of what the Shah Rukh Khan movement in Bollywood. We have known masculinity. You will find references to these Bollywood movies in my conversation, because that's the engagement with, it comes from the way we engage with in our own audience. So what previous masculinity was driven by the Amitabh Bachchan angry man. And what Shah Rukh did in Bollywood is what we need in our policy making and in our academic, in our research, to shift towards that masculinity which is listening, which is taking away, it's okay and not being rattled by the fact that he is not taking the center stage. So as a teacher, as a researcher, as a student, I understand when you leave the center stage and when you go into this personal journey of giving away, shedding away your privileges. So that's the challenge, and there are very few role models. So I struggle with having this community of role models, which is like healthy masculinity, positive masculinity, which we are looking for. So with that, intervention, we started our own projects, and we can talk about it later also.
Thank you so much.